Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of the Greek New Testament, and I'm reading through Revelation at the moment and up to chapter 10. So, kai edon alon angelon iskuron katabainon ta ektu uranu peribeblemenon nephelein kai he iris epites kephales autu kai to prosopon autu hos hohelios kai hoipodes autu hos stuloi puros kai ekon ente kere autu biblaridion eniogmenon. And I saw Alon, another angel, another strong or mighty angel, and then a participle from katabino, going down, so hence descending. So I saw another angel, mighty angel descending ektu uranu from the heaven. Peribeblemenon, we've seen this one before, it's this perfect passive participle from peribello, so it just means wearing. Could be middle as well, so wearing a nephele, so a cloud literally. Kai he iris, iris is a rainbow, and there was a rainbow epites kephales autu upon the head of him, so upon his head. Kai hotop prosopon, prosopon is the face, and his face of him, understand, was hos helios, like the sun. Kai hopodes autu, and the feet of him, so his feet, understand, were like stuloi. These are pillars. Puros is the genitive from pour, pillars of fire. Kai echo, and we've got to supply up the verb to be here. Really, it's just participle from echo. He was having ente keriautu in his hand a biblaridion. This is a funny word. It's a diminutive. Well, you get biblion, which is already a diminutive. This is biblaridion, which is probably a little book or a little scroll. This word only here in the New Testament, and I think only here in Greek. But you can see the roots of it. It's biblion is a little book, and biblaridion perhaps even a little book or a little scroll. Eniogmenon we've seen before. This is the perfect passive participle from anoigo, and it's got a triple augment here. It's one of those verbs that's just been messed around with, even back in earlier times, as I've mentioned before. So it means having been opened. So just to go through that quickly, and I saw another mighty angel descending from the heaven, clothed in a cloud, or wearing a cloud, clothed in might be better here, clothed in a cloud, and the rainbow upon his head, and his face was like the sun, and his feet were like the pillars of fire, and he was having in his hand, so he had in his hand, we'd say, a small scroll, eniogmenon, opened. Kai etheken ton poda autu ton dexion epites thalases ton di onumon epites geis kai ekrax en phone megale hospelion mukatai. Kai, now etheken is from tithemi. This is the aorist form, but it looks perfect with a kappa, but it's just an aorist form from tithemi. So he placed the foot of him, so ton dexion, his right foot. So he placed his right foot epites geis upon the sea. Tondi onumon, this is his left foot, upon the earth. Greek has several words for left. Left is always regarded as bad and evil and so on. And so what the Greeks did was, instead of calling it bad and evil, which might bring nemesis down upon them, they give it the opposite name. So one of the words for left in Greek is aristera, meaning the best, when in fact it's the worst. And here we get onumon. Now this is this onumon is connected with onoma, name. So it means the well-named one. And it just means, it's just the word they use for left, but they give it a nice name, a well-named a good name, so as to avoid evil coming upon them. So hence we get this eunomen here. So he placed his right foot upon the sea and his left foot upon the land. Kai ekraxin phone megale, and he cried out from Krasdo. Stem is crag, and so when you add the sigma you get a psi here. So he cried out in a great voice, hosper. We're getting hosper in place of hose here just for variation, I think. We had a hose earlier on, hos, helios. Hosper is just a strengthened form. So it often translated is just as. So like a leon, a lion. No, actually no, it's hosper, it's just as, because it's the lion roaring. So he cried out in a loud voice, just like or just as a lion. Mukatai is from mukaamai. It's an alpha contract middle verb. Mukaamai. It means to yell out, to make a loud noise. Often used of cows. Actually, you often don't get it with lions, but here it's used with a lion. So just as a lion, we would say roars. I think would be that for this here. So mukaamai, to roar here, I think, and it's an alpha contract verb, mukaamai, middle. Kai hoti ekraxin, elale sen hai hepta brontai tasia turn phonas. And when he cried out, the 7 brontai, these are the 7, well, thunders, literally. And then we get this odd expression here, the elale sen tasiaton phonas. Well, it's something like made their sounds, uttered their sounds. Hence we would say uttered their voices, or uttered their voices, perhaps made their sounds. Because, well, thunders don't generally have a voice, but they do make a sound. So just to do that bit again, he cried out with a loud voice, just like a lion, just as a lion roars. And when he cried out, the 7 thunders, well, uttered their voices, or perhaps made their sounds. Kai hoti elele sen hai heptabrontai amelin graphane. And when the 7 thunders spoke, when they made a noise, amelon, I was about, and this goes back to the first person here, this is from mellow. Notice the funny augment here, because it's mellow, we're getting a kind of double augment here. So I was beginning, or I was about. Normally we get a future infinitive after mellow, but not so often in the New Testament. So I was about to write. So when the 7 thunders were made their noise, I was about to write, Kai ekusophonein, and I heard a voice, ek, to uranu, legusan, participle, agreeing with the phonein. So I heard a voice from heaven saying, Sfragison ha elele sen hai heptabrontai grapses. Now, sfragison is from sfragisdo. A sfragis is a seal, and this is a verb from that, sfragisdon. So seal up, it's an imperative, aorist imperative here from sfragisdo. Seal up the things which elele sen, the 7 thunders are saying, kai me auta grapses, so me plus a subjunctive here from grapho, aorist subjunctive, do not write them. Kai ho angelos hon aden hestota epites thalases kai epites geis, and the angel whom I saw, hestota, standing from histemi, upon the sea and upon the land, that is 1 foot on the land of the sea and 1 foot on the land, So the angel, when I saw him, the one whom I saw standing on the Thalassa, the sea and the land, Aren tan kera autu tan dexian es ton uranon kai omasen ento sonti es tu sionas ton ionon. He raised up his hand, his right hand, so there's the dexia again. So he raised up his right hand, es ton uranon, to the sky, to the heaven. Kai omosen, this is from omnumi. It's one of these irregular verbs, omnumi. The root is om, which then gets augmented to om. We get a linking vowel, and then we get the aorist for ending here. So it's from omnumi, if you're looking it up. And he swore, now it's en totsonti. It's this funny use of en. He swore he swore by the one living, as to sionas ton ionon, living forever and ever. These are not direct quotations, but they're very similar to verses 5 and 6 are very similar to Deuteronomy 32:40 and Daniel 12:7, if you're interested in looking those up. Hos ektisen ton uranon kaita enautu kaitain gain kaita enaute kaitain thalasen kaita enaute hotikronos uketiestai. Al intais hemerais tes phones tu hebdomu angelu hotan mele salpisdain kai etelesthe tomusterion tu theou kai tu theou hos euangelisen tu siautu doulos tus prophetas. It's a long sentence, this one. So he raised up his right hand into the heaven, and he swore by the one who lives forever and ever, who created, this is that katisdo verb again, with an augment, originally meant to found, but in this writer he tends to use it in the sense of create, who created the heaven, kaita en auto, and the things in it, and the earth, and the things in it, feminine agreeing with gain, and the sea and the things in it, hoti chronos uketiestai. Now, chronos is being used here in the sense of delay. And we get hoti, we've got to supply, it's a bit tricky this bit, you've got to supply, he said, that there will be no longer chronos, time, that is, there'll be no more time, there will be no delay. There is a verb chronisdo, which is simply to make time, and that normally means to delay. So he's using the word chronos here in that sense, I think, of delay. So who founded the heaven and the things in it, and the earth and the things in it, and the sea and the things in it. Understand, he said that there will be no longer chronos, a delay. Our entais hemerais tes phones tu hebdomu angelu, and in the days of the voice, or the sound, either voice or sound, of the seventh angel, from hebdomos, seventh, whenever, hoti plus an, mele, subjunctive from mellow, whenever he is about salpisdain, to sound the trumpet, kaietelesthe, and the mystery of God has been fulfilled. The aorist passive from teleo has been fulfilled. So I think we have to supply something here. No, sorry, that's all right. So as and in the days of the sound of the seventh angel, when he was about to sound the trumpet, and the mystery of God was fulfilled, hos euangelisen. Now again, we've got a hos here. We have to supply something before this, something like he proclaimed, so as he proclaimed that, now I've lost the sense of it here. The mystery of God has been fulfilled. Oh, this is Hose after this. I think this swore. He swore that he proclaimed those prophets who were his servants. So I think that euangelizo is normally to proclaim good news. I think it's just announce here. I think it's got a weaker meaning. So as he announced to the prophets, his servants. I see. So the Hose here is as. Right, I better just do that bit again. So, but in the days of the sound of the seventh angel, whenever he was about to sound the trumpet, and the mystery of God had been fulfilled, or was fulfilled, as, so the Hose here has the sense of as, that was the tricky bit, as he proclaimed or announced to the prophets, the doulos here to the servants of, so his servants, his own servants. Okay, so that was a bit tricky there. Kai hefone hain ekus ektu uranu palin lalusan met emu kai legusan hupagi labatop biblion, goes to the next page, and the voice which I heard from the heaven, speaking again, so palin, speaking again, lalusin participle, agreeing with this, the hain, the voice, speaking again with me, and legusan, saying, hupage labito biblion, come, or perhaps go really, hupago is to depart, so go, take, these are imperatives, take the biblion, the book, to enegio menon ente keri tu angelu tu histotas epites geis kai epites thalases kai epites geis. So take the book, the one having been opened, in the hand, dated from care, of the angel who is standing, epites thalases, on the sea and on the land. Kai ap eltha. Now we get a weak aorist ending here. Normally ep aelthon, strong aorist, but you do get mixture of these in the New Testament, so this is a weak aorist when probably it should have been strong. So I went off to the angelon legonauto, to the angel, saying to him, Dunai moi ta biblaridion. Now there's that very rare word again for the little scroll. So saying to him, Dunai, infinitive from didomi, to give to me the little scroll. Kai lege moi. Now, lega, and he says to me, the historic present, labe kai kat afage auto. Labe is the aorist imperative from lambano. The aorist is elabon, and the root is lab, so this is just a strong aorist imperative. Take, and kataphage, well, it's ephagon is the aorist from esthio. Katesthio is to devour something. It's quite a strong word. It's not generally used of animals gorging themselves and gobbling things up, but here it's just quite a strong word. So take and devour it, that is the book, agreeing with biblaridion. Kai pikrine su tan koilian. And now this is a future here from pikrino with an alpha iota. This is a future, so it would be pikranes a, and then the sigma drops and you get a contraction. So if you're looking this one up, it's pikrino. There is the word pikros, meaning bitter. We get picric acid in modern chemistry. So pikrine is will make bitter. So it will make bitter your koilian, your belly. This literally your hollow place. and that comes to mean the belly. Al ento stomati su estai glucu hos meli. But in your mouth, dative from stoma, it will be glucu sweet hos meli like honey. Kai elebon top biblaridion ectes keros to angelu kai etephagon auto kai ein ento stomati mu hos meli glucu kai hotiephagon auton epikranthe he koilia mu. And I took the little scroll from the hand of the angel, and I gobbled it up, I devoured it, from katestheo, and it was in my mouth like sweet honey. And when I ate it, there's the uncompounded form, aorist from estheo, when I ate it, epikranthe, so my belly, and this is a passive here, without augment, which is interesting. There's no augment. Oh, sorry, yes there is. I'm sorry, it's from pikrino, so there's the augment there. So my belly became bitter, was made bitter. So it's an aorist passive from pikrino. Kai legusi moi de sepalin prof etusai epilaois kai ethnesin kai glossais kai basiliusin polois. And they say to me, historic present, it is necessary for you, again, prophetusai, from prophetuo, aorist infinitive, to prophesy. Epi, well, it's got a sense of against, perhaps towards, or perhaps against the peoples and nations, dative plural from ethnos, and tongues, that is languages, tongues, and many kings. Dative plural from basilius. So just to finish off that last bit, I took the little scroll from the hand of the angel and I devoured it, and it was like sweet honey in my mouth. But when I ate it, my belly became bitter, was made bitter. And they say to me, it is necessary for you again to prophesy against the peoples, the nations, the tongues, and many kings. And that's chapter 10.